Here we go. All right. Welcome, everyone. It is Wednesday. It's the weekly recovery coaching call. My name is Omar Pinto. I'm your host. I see some new faces. I think Carrie's new. Antoinette, she's got her camera all fixed up, right? She's new, right? Dave, is this your first time or have you been here before, Dave?
I've been to other meetings, just not this particular one.
All right. Welcome. So the rest of you guys are old school. All right. So those of you that know how this works, this is a weekly coaching call. So if there is something that you are struggling with that we can help you with, that I can help you with, this is the time where I coach you. All right. So if there's anyone here that is currently struggling with something or is having a tough time achieving or reaching an objective, this is also the place to bring that. So who would like to begin? Who's got something they'd like to support with? Stephanie jumped right in. She was ready.
Yeah, I kind of planned on it. But
there you go. Good girl.
Lately I've just been like in this state of constant burnout. I can't get out of it. I'm not like my brain, heart, and mind are like completely separate entities. As Leo would say, tell your disease to fuck off, and I can't get it to fuck off. And I'm like in that mental state of using but not using.
Okay, expand on that.
I'm not sleeping. I'm barely eating. I'm trying to work out, but it's not there. I'm lacking complete motivation. I have nothing, and my self-talk is like down a lot.
Okay, so there's negative self-talk. Okay, that totally threw me off. You know, the interruption. Repeat that again. Okay, so Leo told you to tell your disease to fuck off. It has not been successful. It is kicked in. There's a negative self-talk. How else is it manifested?
Just no motivation, insomnia. I work out a lot and I haven't even been doing that as much. I'm not eating like I normally do.
Okay. Let's start with a few prompts. What comes to mind? Okay, finish this statement. I feel sad because.
I just feel like I'm constantly not getting to where I need to get to.
Constantly not getting where I'm supposed to?
Where I need to be.
Where I need to be. Okay, constantly can't not get to where I need to get. And where do you need to get?
Across the finish line.
Okay, across the finish line. What is the finish line?
I have to complete finals. That's a big one. I'm trying to communicate more effectively. There's a couple things I'm trying to do. I have to make up a bunch of work hours that I lost again.
Make up a bunch of work hours.
Yeah, we get a stipend, and I need it.
Okay, so you get how's that again?
I work for my school, so I get a stipend off my tuition.
Okay. Cool. And so has that accumulated?
It's just one big stipend. It just falls.
Right, but you have to complete a certain amount of hours, right?
Yeah, you have to complete 300 hours or make X amount of money.
Okay, all right. So cross the finish line, complete finals, communicate effectively, make up work hours. All right. Expand on the communicate effectively?
I'm just not opening up. I'm not reaching out. I'm being super vague.
Okay. Not opening up, not reaching out. Okay. All right. So who could you reach out to? Like who are you not reaching out to?
I haven't been reaching out to myself. I've been reaching out to the group. I've been mentally withdrawn.
Mm-hmm. Group, mentally withdrawn. Okay. So what comes to mind immediately is overwhelmed. Okay. So I'm going to just start listing off some things. All right. This is what I am assuming you're feeling. I feel pressure. I feel overwhelm. Is that about right?
Mm-hmm.
What else do you feel? Pressure, overwhelm,
Tired.
tired.
Honestly, exhausted.
Okay, exhausted. So if you could, like, let's say, for example, there's 10 things that you have to do. What's the one thing that takes up the most amount of time and energy?
Me trying to get the motivation to do it.
All right. Me trying to get the okay. All right. Yeah, that's not it. Next.
I think that all of it's so time consuming, but my biggest thing right now is I have to go back and revise everything I've ever done in the entire semester and put it all together in a professional portfolio. And it's so much. It's so much. It's like 16 weeks worth of hardcore assignment.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So it's not everything, right? We allow ourselves to get overwhelmed. Okay. It's human nature for us to allow ourselves to get overwhelmed. And what happens is you have a ginormous task that you have no idea where to begin and where it's going to end. And then on top of that, you have everything else that you have to get done, right? And you're not reaching out to your support network because
I don't know. Like, I literally don't know. Like, I haven't been even talking to my friends.
okay. So I want you to know that when you get here in this place in the future, when you get here and that you don't know, right? So what it is the reason why you're not reaching out is because you don't know where to begin.
Yeah.
Like, how can I help?
Yeah. And I also feel weird because it's like, there's a point in time where I just feel like people around me can't help me. And I get like stuck in that place. And it's just like, I've always been that way.
People around me can't help me. It's always been that way. Now we're getting to some good stuff. It's always been that way. So what's another way that you can phrase this? I don't know where to begin. People around me can't help me. It's always been that way.
I can try to let people help me and reteach myself that I can let people help me and that they can do it. If
Or
I can.
or I can't count on anyone.
Yeah.
Yeah, I could let people in and I could ask for help. And I could try to explain, but I can't count on anyone. That feel more accurate?
It does, but I know that that's like not true.
Okay, so who can you count on?
Mm. I'm count on Travis, Tori, Leo. I count on a couple friends that I'm close to. My cat, my dog. I count on my sister. Sometimes my dad, depending. Uh, mm, that's all I can think of right now.
Oh, there's me.
Yeah, you.
Oh, yeah. I'm just saying. Just gonna put that out there. I'm just gonna put that out
Don't
there.
flatter yourself, Omar. This is your job.
I know. Fair enough. Fair enough. All right. So here is this thing. You're torn between this feeling of people around me can't help me, but there's also this realization that there are people that can help me. Now, interestingly enough, these are new people.
Mm-hmm.
So who could you count on a year ago?
Myself.
Okay. So this is right now you're learning how to count on others because previously you've only been able to count on yourself.
Mm-hmm.
So this is new. And you've caught yourself, you got caught up in a feedback loop. I need help. I can't do this. I'm overwhelmed. I don't know what to do. I'm falling behind. I have to fix this. And you're reverting back to old behavior.
Right.
Okay. Right. So what's starting to come up as I'm like bringing this to your attention? What thoughts or ideas are starting to come to the surface?
The whole idea of reparenting myself.
What else?
That it's okay to have trust in people and trust myself that I can trust these people.
Okay. So let's start here. Okay, so let's practice, right? So first it's whole idea of reparenting. And the other thing is I can trust myself and others. So let's start with the reparenting. So right now, let's go and just kind of go back a little bit on this negativity that's been going on in your head. And what new language right now could you use on yourself? What could you tell yourself right now?
That you're gonna get through this.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. What else?
That even though it might not be your best effort, it's some effort. Don't give up. Just keep pushing. Sleep, eat, take care of yourself. Love yourself. Challenge yourself. Be a good Stephanie.
There you go. You just forgot. Okay, you just kicked in. Okay, so new Stephanie just woke up. Old Stephanie had kind of snuck back in. Okay, and had kind of started driving the bus again. And you guys ended up in Lostville. Okay, and then you forgot that new Stephanie's in there and she's got a GPS. Don't worry. We can find our way out of this. It's going to be okay. I got a phone. I got full phone reception. I'm going to call Tori. Okay. I'm going to call Leo. I'm going to call Tree Life. I am going to calm down. We can do this. We're going to be fine. Okay. So there's one. Very good. So now that you're back, so this new Stephanie's back. So now this new Stephanie's reaching out to Omar and going, hey, I'm feeling a little overwhelmed and I could use a little help. Okay, so with what?
I think just time management and not overwhelming myself to the point to where, I'm not sleeping, or like I feel like I need to take an Adderall to get stuff done and then
Mhm.
take a Xanax to go to sleep, like stuff like that. And I tried like being more task oriented and getting in the habit and like writing down little stuff, but I just still feel like I'm doing it and crossing it off, but I'm not getting to where I need to be.
Okay. So two things. One, we create the monsters that eat us. Okay. And number two, how do you eat an elephant?
I don't know what you're getting at.
How do you eat an elephant?
I don't know.
One bite at a time.
Oh. Why an elephant?
Because it's so ridiculous.
That's true. Okay.
And it's massive. And there's no way that I could eat an elephant all in one go, or in one day, or in 1 week. Literally, I have this elephant. I got to eat it. I got to put it in the freezer. I got to store it. I got to thaw some of it out. I got to cook some of it, right? Like, it's going to take me some time. Easy does it. And so there are some things that you're feeling overwhelmed with, and you've got one big giant monster that's eating you. And it's this, what is it, this thing that you have to get done? It's
just like a professional portfolio, and it builds my entire career.
okay. Who assigned this to you?
Dr. Barna.
Okay. So I am going to be your friend, right? Like, I'm not your coach, I'm your friend, right now. And so it's like, hey, Steph, why don't you go and talk to, what's his name? Dr. who?
Dr. Barna.
Dr. Barna. Hey, Dr. Barna, I'm basically drowning in a glass of water and I'm trying to eat an elephant in one sitting. Okay. I am really having a tough time with this. It's consuming all of my bandwidth. I don't know where to begin. I need help. What do you think Dr. Barna would do?
Honestly, I don't know her well enough to tell you. Like,
Hmm.
I'm not close with her like that. She doesn't live here.
Does it feel feasible to do that?
Probably to my old professors that know me, that have seen me do this before, but not her.
What is it about her that brings you so much fear?
I just don't know her.
Okay, so let me ask you this. If it was your other teachers, would you have already gone to them?
Probably.
So at some point, they were new teachers and you felt comfortable going up to them.
Right.
Okay, what is it about Dr. Barna?
I just don't see her in person. It's just all online. I'm lacking that intimate connection.
It's all online. See, if we ask enough questions, we get ultimately to the root cause. Okay? This is new. This is my first relationship with this teacher completely online. I don't have that intimate connection that I have with the other teachers. If I did, I probably would have already gone and talked to her. I feel about right?
Yeah.
Okay. How do you get a hold of Dr. Barna to have a one-on-one with her?
Email.
Email. Okay, great. All right. So has she ever said, if you guys need anything, email me?
Yeah, but she's not very like personable. I'm not the
Mm,
only person who lacks a connection with her. Um, the other 12 people in my cohort don't have any are kind of the same way with her.
okay.
She doesn't have like virtual office hours or anything either.
So when you think about reaching out to her, What comes up? What kind of thoughts?
Just like she is something like, just she wants us to get it done. Like, I don't really know what I think. I just don't do it, I guess.
All right. I just don't do it, I guess. I'm going to need a because.
Well, I've reached out to her before because one of my assignments was late because we were drowning, and she like was like, yeah, I understand, that's fine, and then still took off like a lot of points for it being late. But my old professors were like, yeah, just get it in by the end of the semester. Like, do you, like, we understand this is super stressful. And we all kind of went in with that, like our mentality of our teachers caring about our mental health, making sure we're getting through. Like, that's what we're doing. And they don't. And then she doesn't.
Does it feel like we're getting somewhere here?
Yes.
I don't feel like I can reach out to Dr. Barna because
I just don't think she cares about us as students.
very good. Very good. There you have it. So this is just like anything else in life. You know, when it comes to coaching, I'm going to get back to my coaching hat. We talk about limiting beliefs and blockages. And when we reach a limiting belief and a blockage in our lives, sometimes everything stops. We reach a certain block. There's an obstacle in my way. I'm moving along. A blockage shows up. And before I know it, I am so busy focusing on this blockage and how to get around it that I stop focusing on everything else as well. Does that sound remotely accurate?
Pretty spot on.
Okay. So it's just like test taking. If I'm going along, and I get to a question that I don't understand, and I stay there the whole time focusing on, I'm stuck. I don't know this answer. I don't know how to answer this question. The rest of the test, I run out of time and I don't get to answer any of the questions. Otherwise, like, obstacle here. I'll get to this later. So this is why I asked you if there was one thing, like, what's the biggest thing? And you're like, everything. Okay. Or I don't know. What was it? Me trying to get the motivation to do it. Okay. So I go, that's vague. Okay. So that's not it. No. Here's what happens. I can't stop thinking about this thing that's in my way, and I have stopped focusing on everything else because this feels like the most important thing, and I have to resolve this thing first before I resolve anything else. Versus what could be a different way of looking at this.
I could go little by little at a time. So I'm not super overwhelmed to an extent where I'm like pulling an all-nighter and brain dead all the time and mentally withdrawn from everything else around me. But I could also go around the block. Wait, that's not, no.
Why not? Why?
I don't know. I mean, I could and just come back to it later and focusing on like what's going on, get it back, and then come back to the block and go over it when I'm ready.
You could absolutely do that. See, right now you're focusing on this and letting everything else back up versus I'm going to focus on everything else first and then I'll get back to this because chances are she's going to let me down anyway. So I'm not going to focus on this. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to send the teacher an email, Dr. So-and-so an email and say, I need help with this. I need some one-on-one time with you. You know what you have there? I have a timestamp and I have proof that I reached out and asked for help. If I fail this class for whatever reason, or if whatever the consequences are, okay, I have this evidence here that shows that I made an effort to get some help. It didn't come, right? And I have a point of reference. And now I can let that go and focus on all the other stuff that I need to get out. And I can organize all that stuff. How does that feel to you?
Like a sense of relief.
Can you breathe again?
Mm-hmm.
Does that feel like a more appropriate strategy?
It does.
All right. So other than this Dr. Barna situation, what's the second thing? I want everyone here to pay attention to what's happening right now.
I can't think of it. I don't know.
There isn't a number 2. I want everyone to pay attention here. Okay. When you're coaching someone, their eyes tell you everything. Their eyes tell you everything. What's number 2? Oh, there isn't. Right. So what it does is it anchors this proof, not just to me, but also to Stephanie. It's like, oh my God, yes. This is it. This is the thing. This is the only thing. It's not all of it. It's not everything. I just got stuck here. And I just have to go around it. No, I can't go around it. I'm like, beautiful. She just proved my point. I'm stuck staring at this thing, right? It's in my way. How do I get around it? You just walk around it. All right. Tree Life, go ahead.
I mean, first of all, Steph, I'm proud of you for, first of all, going to the hotel room like we talked about to get the headspace from your situation personally. And then coming here to Omar to talk about it, admirable. And it's proof that, Stephanie's still in there and wanting to do things. And then also, I just want to ask the question, do you at all feel like you are a perfectionist? Right? Because one of the things that you mentioned about not reaching out to your professor before is because like you turned in something late and lost points about it. But I know how much you pride yourself on getting that 96% on your class and stuff. And so is there by, that 96 is now like an 85 or something, does that affect your mentality and may force you to want to stare at this wall more often to not be able to walk around it? Like, I have to get this 96% on this fucking thing. I have to stay up all night long to finish my portfolio to prove to this, like, is that necessary? Or, because I'm the same way. And then you also said I could do it a little bit by a little bit. So the second part of that is, if you do think you are a perfectionist, do you think that progress over perfection would be more sufficient for your life moving forward?
So growing up, if I got an 85, or okay, let's say I got a 90, that's an A minus. It was, why didn't you get an A plus? Why didn't you do this? I was always getting like torn apart. Like, that's where my eating disorder stems from, is that strive. And we have to maintain like a certain GPA to even stay in our program. And the plus minus scales is also an honest to God bitch for us, because if, let's say I get a B, that's a 3.0, but if they do it B minus, I have a 2.8 and I'm risking my program. And that's like an expectation that it's hard to meet. So yes, I'm a complete perfectionist, but at the same time, I'll just take an L at the same time. It's really weird. Like, I'll just be like, I'm done. This paper's on the page length, but screw it, I'm turning it in. I'd rather lose a page or point than it being super late and this paper being spot on. So I have like a little bit of both.
Anything else, Tree Life?
I mean, I think you're on the right track. And I know how consumed I get with my own perfectionism sometimes. But yeah, I mean, to me, the thing with perfectionism, is understanding that it doesn't mean that I have to be perfect, but it also means I don't have to fuck off and like not do my work thoroughly or well. There's still a certain aspect of integrity that I carry, and I hope that other people carry as well. And that integrity is what to me provides the job well done. I know my skills and my talents and my assets. And these are some of the things that I work on with myself, talk to assure myself. So obviously I'm not saying don't take, like if you have to have something to maintain something for your career, then yeah, strive for something. But yeah, you don't always gotta swing for the fences I think you can do it. Eat the elephant one bite at a time, and progress over perfection.
Wonderful.
That's all I got.
Thanks, brother. All right. So this is it's a delicate topic. Okay. And it's an important topic. And I'm sure as everyone was listening to Stephanie process what is going on with her, ultimately, in just about every case, it all stems from a root cause issue. And then that root cause issue stems from, like in this particular case, yet another root cause issue. So as a child, it was never good enough. So that is a wound, and that is trauma from childhood. And yet again, here I am. And if I submit this and it's wrong, then I'm risking feeling that disappointment of it's just not good enough. So what has that, for those of you listening, what's come up for you guys that are listening? A moment in your life where you were dealing with the same situation that could relate, or you're dealing with it right now in some way, shape, or form. Anyone?
I'll jump in.
Well done, Tori.
Yeah, Steph, I mean, thanks for being so open. I've been worried about you, and I care about you, and there's so many people that do care about you. But for not being good enough, for me it was, and Steph, I know we're a lot alike. It was my alcoholic father that, I was never going to reach his, the standards that I wanted the attention from him, and I wanted, and that set unrealistic standards for myself. And even today, I find that, I still have unrealistic standards for myself. And when I set my eye on something, and I realize that I'm being super perfectionist about it, it's like, whoa. Like, let's back up for a second, because you're never going to get there. You're, overcompensating, and never being good enough is just going to keep me in a cycle that will never stop, pretty much, and it's going to make me continue to beat myself up and feel bad about myself, and not ask for help, and not look out. Anyway, but I just want to say, I'm proud of you, and I'm here. So.
All right. So I'm going to address really quick and Eric just wrote it here as well. I can relate to extremes as well. I either hit the grand slam or strike out. And like you said, I'm going for the A, yeah, or I'm perfectly content with the L. Okay. And what we're describing here is yet again extremes. There is an emotional connection that we have in the extremes because there's intensity. There's intensity in the loss. There's intensity in the win. Okay. There's very little intensity in the draw. Nobody likes a tie. When a game ends in a tie, everyone's disappointed. That's why everyone hates soccer. Okay. Dun-dun-dun. Okay. Good thing that everyone hates no one likes a draw. I want to see a win or I want to see a loss. Okay. For those of us that watch fights, I can't stand it when it goes to decision. I want to see somebody get knocked out. That's just in my nature. I'm watching a fight because I want to watch somebody get knocked out, which means somebody loses and somebody wins. And there's a certain sense of satisfaction that comes in both of those areas. But being a C, that sucks. C is boring. C is like pudding and oatmeal and homework. So there is an emotional, what am I trying to feel? I'm trying to feel something. And when I'm in the extremes, I'm looking to feel intensity. That's what we do. That's why we do drugs and alcohol in the first place. We're looking for very intense feelings and emotions. All right. So at the end of the day, just to close up with Steph, how are you feeling right now?
A lot better than before.
Okay, great. You're feeling a lot better than before? Okay, great. You know what your next course of action is?
To plan out my bites and walk across around the block.
Okay. So let's be very specific. What's the next course of action?
I'm going to get my planner and write out what I need to do for a day and just dedicate some time to it and then come back and then focus on myself and focus on my self-care and sleep and eat and be human.
Great. So number one, reparent.
Yes.
Okay, great. Number two.
Oh, reach out to Dr. Barna. That's what it was.
Yeah, quickly we forget.
I know.
Quickly we forget. So number one, write these down. Number one, immediately start reparenting, which includes a lot of positive self-talk. Number two, email Dr. Barna. And as soon as I email Dr. Barna, what am I going to do?
I'm going to keep it and document it.
Perfect. And you're going to walk away from it. Okay. That is your next step on that particular assignment. Then you're going to prioritize everything else. And this big giant elephant goes to the bottom of that list until you hear back from Dr. Barna. You need help. You are not clear on your next move. And until you are, it will consume all your bandwidth. So disperse your bandwidth on all the other executable items first, and then, okay, now I haven't heard from Dr. Barna. Let me take a look at this thing and see if there's at least one thing that I can do here. But when I allow everything else in my life to unravel, including my own self-care, because of one item, it means that I am missing the objective. Okay, the objective in life is to learn how to have balance. All right. Any questions? You're better.
And feel better, like getting it out.
Good. Good. All right. So I'm going to check in with you next week.
Okay.
Okay. So be sure to show up next week so we can do a follow-up. I want to see where you've gotten on this. All right, wonderful. Okay, applause for Stephanie. Okay, before we move on, is there anything else anyone would like to add to this topic? Thank you, Antoinette. All right, so we got 15 minutes. Who's got something for me? Who is struggling? Who needs help? Who has a question? Hey, Tim, you still there? Okay. No, he's not. All right, come on, 15 minutes, plenty of time for something. Anyone? It can be something simple. Come on. Somebody's going to have something. I'm going to pick on Jennifer. Ah, why? I just thought of something, Jennifer.
Okay.
I was thinking about your daughter and your relationship with your daughter.
Oh, okay. Where should I start? It's been kind of hard to focus on her because of all the things that are going on with me. But it's going well. Right now, my daughter, is struggling with her sexual identity. So, she went from, she had a boyfriend, and Sarah's relationship issues, and I know this shouldn't be all about her right now, but when she's in a relationship, it's all consuming. I mean, she just sucks that person in, and with 19, 20-year-old guys, that's scary. And so her relationships with guys have been short-lived. And so this last one was a really tough one. It was very, very difficult when he left. And so I believe that she's in her mind thinking, well, if I'm that way, then other women are going to be that way. So let's explore that. I'm okay. I would love her if she was a serial killer. That's not the problem right now. But she got a job in a weed dispensary, which probably wasn't the best job for her at this time. So she's a cheer coach for high school cheer team. She's a bud, what do you call them? A bud, help me here.
I have
A
no
bud
idea.
barista or something.
Oh, a barista.
I don't know. Yeah, a bud barista.
Okay.
And
a bud barista. Okay, like a coffee barista.
Yeah, but she's
got it. Okay.
And she already has a problem. Well,
yes. Yeah.
Not, some people say no, not with weed, but she can't get through the day. She can't get through a couple hours without smoking. And she smokes, so anyway, and then she just got laid off from a restaurant job, and so she's okay. So she's got all that going on. So, and here's her, 66-year-old mother.
Mhm.
Of course, I lived that life, so it doesn't bother
Mhm.
me or shock me, but I'm still worried, and I'm still the helicopter mom, and
Mhm.
I worry,
So
she is still taking advantage of living here, in my opinion. So we got the slob thing going on,
mhm.
and all that, and she lives here for absolutely free. She got a DUI that she's trying to deal with. So yeah, I don't know where you wanted me to go with this, but
No, this is exactly where I needed you to go
is
with this.
that okay?
So
Because
yeah.
everybody else is like going, okay.
Well, the thing
Sorry.
is this, and I love the fact that right before I reached out to you, I wanted to see how your relationship was going with your daughter. That was the objective, to see how
Okay.
things were going, because I knew that because there was this control issue, I'm worried about her, and then the last time we identified that the worry was really more like I'm trying to control her.
Hmm.
Okay, and I can't control her, so what can I do? I can only control myself,
Yeah.
right?
Mhm.
And Wendy writes, tips to reparent: do inner child work while depressed. Okay, so Wendy's asking for tips on reparenting. So this entire segment can just be about reparenting,
Mhm.
and not only reparenting ourselves for the purpose of reparenting us, but also in the effort to be able to parent our own children. There's a reason why it's difficult for you to set boundaries and rules with her, because that's really what it boils down to.
Oh,
What it boils down
absolutely.
to is there is this feeling, possibly, that you either don't have the right, or you're not quite sure how to set boundaries with your daughter, because there's a because in there. Because if there wasn't something blocking you,
Mhm.
a belief system, then you would be able to say, if you're going to live in this house, you're going to have to pay some rent, you're going to have to clean up your room, and you're going to have some chores. And as long as you abide by those rules, you can stay. Otherwise, you got to find a new place to live. So really, we got to go deeper and heal what needs to heal. And there is something that needs to heal that is preventing you from setting proper boundaries with your daughter. What do you think that might be?
Okay, well, I thought about this too, so don't think I haven't. But well, number one, and this is strange, but my daughter is adopted. We adopted
Mm.
her at birth, and I was pretty old when I became a mom for the first time. And I didn't think I would be a mom, to be honest with you. And my husband and I hadn't been married too long, and had thought, someday we'll adopt, and which isn't that easy to do. But for some reason, God just thought it was, you know, he wanted to make it happen. So we, a friend of ours, daughter who was pregnant, wanted to give up her baby for adoption, basically picked us. So I was just like flabbergasted. I was shocked. It just kind of hit me like a ton of bricks. And for me, that feeling was when she was born, and I started to, be a parent, and just it was just beautiful, wonderful, fantastic. Then when I would think about it, I would think about the fact that another woman had given up, you know, her and given her to me. And for some reason in my head, I guess I thought that that was more of a responsibility, and or I just thought I can't screw this kid up. You know, I've been allowed to have this opportunity, and another mom is expecting me to do it right, and I don't want to mess this up, and I just those kinds of thoughts were going around in my head, and as a result of that, long story short, Sarah became quite spoiled, I guess.
You think?
Yeah, in that, and sadly, now that I have, of course, she was the only kid I had, so I didn't have anybody else to screw up or experiment on. But, by all means, we know that we've done her a terrible disservice, and ourselves to boot. But, going back, there's some, that I totally believe in genetics and I think there's some genetic things going on back there in her family background with drugs and alcohol, and mental illness. And I also feel that watching me go through my addiction and alcoholism, had some lasting effects on there in there as well. So that right there, I would say, I can't really explain exactly how that is affecting the boundaries, but I don't know if you can.
You're doing fantastic.
Feel me. I don't know if you can feel what I'm putting down.
You're doing fantastic. Is anyone here not following along? Is everyone here following along perfectly?
Okay.
Everyone here is following along. Yeah, everyone here knows. You keep going.
Okay, so and the other reason I think I have a lot of trouble with boundaries, and I've tried in days past, like when I went through rehab, I had a counselor who was really big on this. I mean, she was just she would put us through exercises. She would bring Sarah in and try to, do dual therapy with Sarah, and Sarah would just basically say, "Oh, you can just go fuck yourself," and get up and walk out. And by the way, that's kind of what she does with me when I try to set a boundary with her. It either turns into World War III, and I mean to the point where I've seen her go into a fit that scares me, and after a few of those, and I don't want to describe them too much. It's just imagine the worst conflict interaction that you could ever possibly have with somebody that you love. After a while, you just don't want to do that anymore, so you'll do anything to avoid it, which means not setting boundaries and just going whatever. I mean, I get to the point, and my husband, God bless him, he's a little bit more on board than I am, to the point where he's got a little bit more strength, I guess you could say. But after a while, I'm just like, I don't want to do this. Let her go. Let her shit all over us, whatever. Let her laundry pile up. Let her, smoke wax in her room till the whole house smells. I don't know. But, I just I'm weak, I guess, and I, I'm getting, and right now my health has made it worse to the point, where I just, just say, just live your life, whatever you want to do. I mean, as long as you're not burning the house down or spending all of our money or whatever, she would never, she doesn't do things like that. And she's a very loving child, and I'm sure that she's attached to us so much just because, well, who wouldn't be if you're living for free and getting away with everything, and you got a mom who's your puppet. So
here's what, and I want Wendy to jump in, because Wendy, did you put your hand up or was that an accident? First of all,
sorry. Yeah, I did.
Go ahead, Wendy.
I was just going to say, speaking as a mom, I have 2 adult children. Sorry, my youngest is here. No,
mine's an adult too, believe it or not. But
yeah, no, I figured she was. I've definitely
21. Just barely.
Yeah, my middle child. Okay, go back over there, Boo. Is 22, and I had some similar experiences as you. Especially she experienced trauma, and that definitely, I'm going to go in the other room, that definitely caused more issues, and I had a lot of mom guilt. I would say that I couldn't help her and I couldn't save her or protect her from things, and so I let her get away pretty much with murder. Not even that, but it was almost like I thought I had to fix everything. That's the other thing. And I started to do everything for her. And I think what helped me was just learning that, it was okay to let go and to take care of me. I wasn't, I couldn't fulfill everyone's idea of what role, what I should be. And I had to take care of myself. I think for me, it was a little different because I have a younger child, and I saw things affecting her. I do have an older child who seems to be like the quote unquote perfect child. So my daughter was always comparing herself to him. And it's like, so one of the things I just started to ask myself is, what would I do? But I think before that happened, things got pretty bad. It hit rock bottom. And then my daughter's caseworker was like, when are you going to choose you? When are you going to choose yourself? And as a parent, I always thought that your kids should be first. And then I had been in the middle of a divorce, so I felt guilty about circumstances and their lives not being exactly what I thought it should be. And I beat myself up about it. And so, I think my daughter to use that to her advantage. I can remember her staying out all night one night and coming home, and she's like, did you wait up? And she's like, I knew you did. And I had to work at 7 a.m. but she knew. And that's when I realized, and for me, I'm a person of faith. I'm not super duper religious, but I was just it was I was do you really believe that this is my kid and that I'm in control? Then let go. And so for me, I realized that shows up a lot of places in my life, because it helps me to feel safe. And I grew up with, my mom left when I was younger. My parents are addicts. And so I grew up with my dad, and then just what that looked like with somebody who would use off and on and then in the system and stuff. So I really had this idea of what I should be. And I would, I don't care if it killed me to achieve that. I would do it if I worked 3 jobs or, went to school, taking care of my kids, just everything. And so what really helped me was, because I didn't know how to choose me. So that question, that seemed like betrayal for me to choose myself. And I realized that I wasn't doing anyone a favor by not taking care of me, and that I was teaching my youngest I was teaching her the same generational thing of that poor self-care and mom guilt and all this stuff. I didn't see my mom go through it, but I did see my dad go through it. And how it impacted him. So what helped me was, at first I didn't think I deserved anything good. And I just asked myself, what would I do for my daughter, or what would I tell them, or a friend? And I started to say, okay, well, I'll do that for myself. And then little by little, and I started to forgive myself. There were things that I felt bad about with my kids, how I handle certain things. And I brought that up, and it's been a lot of work over time. But I guess what I really wanted to say to you is that, I hear it feels like a lot of guilt and you being really hard on yourself. I may be wrong. I really judge myself a lot. I'm getting out of that. And I feel that pain. And so, we love, you love your daughter, and things may not look like you want them to look, or her life what you want it to look like, but that doesn't mean that you failed or that there's something flawed about you, I guess, in a way is what I'm saying. Like, you still are good and worthy of love, just like she is. Yeah. Our choices don't make who we are. And I just see you I could feel you being hard on yourself. And I felt like I was in my head dropping into that little thought loop, and I can feel it. And it's like, I look at my kids now, and I had to let my daughter suffer. I did do the boundaries. She doesn't like it, but I think they're getting used to it. And I'm seeing her start to be more independent. Like, I'll say, you can do this, when she's like, can you make me an appointment? Can you do this and that? And I'm like, you can do this. I know you can. And I'll just keep stepping back. And I've seen her bloom a lot, like, she's just doing really well. She's not perfect. She's really struggling, and I see her repeating a lot of the habits I did, but I'm there for her. And I know also too, we're like, cool, like we can talk, and I don't know why it's changed our relationship. And I know that you'll get there too. I'll be quiet now.
You're doing fantastic, Wendy.
Great. Thank you.
Solid gold.
Someone else knows. Someone else knows what I'm going through.
Wendy dropped like volumes of wisdom, and experience on you.
Thank you.
I want to know what was going on inside you, Jennifer, because there was a lot of really good information that you could take away from this.
Yeah. Well, first of all, I could tell that someone else has been where I am and have been, and probably will spend a little more time there. I guess with the boundary thing, I just have to be ready for whatever will happen when I set that boundary. And right now I'm a little bit physically weak. I just got out of the hospital, and anyway, that's neither here nor there. But I just, I want her to be happy in whoever she feels she is. But I realize that she's going to have to learn a lot of things probably the hard way, and I can't smooth that out for her. I think it's important that she has to go through some of that. Hopefully she won't drag me through it with her, because I've already, paid my dues in a lot of ways, financially and things like that. But I just don't know. I don't want her to suffer. And, you always want your kids to not make the same mistakes you did. And I think I even heard you say that, but I think that that's part of their destiny to a certain extent. It's just going to happen, and but thank you, Wendy, so much. Volumes was a good word. I mean, I know you've been there, and so, you know, I just got to put on my big girl panties or my old lady panties or whatever they are, and just, you know, lay the gauntlet down and let the shit fall where it may, either hit the fan or whatever, because, you know, it's going to happen. So, and it has to be done. It has to be done. I mean, every time my husband and I have this conversation, it's just like, you know, it's just going to have to happen. And, you know, maybe she'll be living in her car or, you know, whatever. But, and, you know, it's amazing too, just on kind of another note, how much guilt they can impose on us. Oh my goodness, they know how to, you know, why did you adopt me? You know, those whole things. If you were gonna do this to me, why did you adopt me? You know, and I get that a lot. And she did go through some, you know, rejection issues with why did my birth parents give me up and all that stuff. But yeah, they can really work you until you get it all figured out and know that that's just all bullshit. But yeah, so
Jennifer,
I mean, I could wander on over.
No. Here's the thing.
Rein me in.
Here's the thing. Well, first of all, it's nice to let you unwind all this because it lives all in
nice
here.
For me.
It lives in here. But I'm going to remind you that you've had this same conversation probably a few hundred times.
Yeah.
Because you're so good at having this conversation. You come 100% awareness, okay, 100% ownership, and 100% clarity. There was nothing in here that was like unclear. You know exactly where you're at. You know exactly what to do. What are you afraid of?
Yeah, I was going to say, then that's the question.
What are you afraid of?
Why am I not doing it?
No, you're afraid of something. Yeah. What are you afraid of?
Well, I guess we're all to a certain extent afraid that our kids won't love us, but it's all said and done. But and I don't really feel that way about my daughter too much. I think right now I'm just afraid of the physical and emotional toll that it will take on me when all this has to happen, because it'll happen. It's probably won't happen over time. It's probably going to happen maybe as one or two big episodes.
You're ruminating. You're future tripping. Okay.
Oh, okay. Well, I guess I'm just worried. You know, I'm a little bit worried about my health right now because I'm physically a little bit incapacitated, and of course, I always worry about my sobriety. I mean, I feel pretty strong in that right now, but and you know, I had some things to deal with, you know, during the surgery because I was an opioid addict, and you know, I just got off of them again. Thank God.
Okay. It's
you know, things
thing.
like that. I don't want to.
No, we're gonna go deeper. I'm gonna push you deeper. This is all stuff that you've already covered. Okay. I'm gonna push you deeper because guess what? I'm afraid of the physical and emotional toll it'll have on me. She's killing you right now. She's breaking you. She's got a sledgehammer and she's beating you over the head with it. Okay. So it ain't that. You're already going through more physical and emotional pain than anyone should endure as a parent. Okay. And I understand that you might be worried about your sobriety. Okay. But let's go deeper. I'm afraid that she won't love me. Okay. And what does that mean? The idea that let's just assume that she doesn't love you. What would that mean?
It'll be very painful.
Huh? Why? Why would it be painful? Go deeper.
Well, because she's my daughter, and you know, you want your children to love you. You know,
Right.
I
Right.
mean,
And
those are the only.
what does it mean if your children don't love you?
Well, the first thing that comes to my mind is I did a really shitty job of being a parent.
Stop right there.
Okay.
Stop right there. Now we're getting close. I did a shitty job as a parent.
An adoptive
There you
parent.
go. So if I did a shitty job as a parent, what else does that mean?
Well, hopefully I didn't do a shitty job as a person, a wife.
Let's keep going. Let's stay with this one with the mom.
Oh, well, my mom was an alcoholic, so I don't know what that has to do with anything, but she and I had
Would you say that your mother was successful as a mother?
at the end, yeah, after she went through her alcoholic time, my mom got sober when I was 13 and stayed sober for the rest of her life. But I mean, even after that, she and I, had a pretty rocky relationship because my mom was just my mom. She had mental and emotional issues that, back then, they weren't addressed
Okay.
appropriately.
Okay, so just let's go black and white, pass, fail. Did your mother pass as a mother or did she fail?
Whew. I've never thought of it as failure. So, I mean, she put me through a lot, but in the very end, I think she passed.
So
at least that's what my heart's telling me right now. Maybe there's something in there that.
So if I do a really shitty job as a parent, if I set boundaries and my daughter hates me, it means that maybe I did a shitty job as a parent. And does that mean I pass or I fail?
I guess it means I fail.
Yeah. Yeah. This is what you're afraid to feel, Jennifer. You're afraid to feel like you let her down.
Yeah.
That I failed as a mother. This is what you're really avoiding, feeling my love. This is what you're avoiding feeling. This is why it's so important that she love you in any capacity. In any capacity. I need her to love me because it means that I succeeded as a parent. Even if it's to the detriment of myself and even the detriment of her. Because by not setting boundaries with her, you're not doing her a service. You're doing her a disservice.
Yeah.
But subconsciously, I am so afraid of letting her down and her not loving me. Because of what it means is I failed her and I failed her mother and I failed and I failed and I failed and I failed and I'm not good enough. Breathe that in. Breathe that in. I got you. I got you. I'm going to pull you through this. I got you.
I don't know how to sit down and talk to my daughter.
There
Like
you go.
the reason with her, because it always ends up with her being angry and just mad.
So you need to reparent Jennifer first. You need to reparent and love yourself. And you need to recognize that you are not responsible for her emotional state. It's not your responsibility.
She will tell you otherwise.
I know. And she's good. She's good, right? She knows exactly what buttons to push. She knows how to control you and manipulate you and guilt you to get what she wants. And if you set the hard boundaries, if you set the hard rules, and she leaves and something happens, how could I live with myself?
Yeah.
Jennifer, it's not your fault. This is not your fault. You did the best you could. You did the best, and you're doing the best you can, and that's enough. It's enough. And you owe it to her and you owe it to yourself to do the really hard thing. The really hard thing is to set the boundaries that are so strong that she recognizes that the way that she gets love from you is not by enabling. But when you set the hard boundaries and you discipline her, you know what it really means? It means you care. It means you care. And that's how you can have this conversation with her. It's a very simple, very quick conversation. It starts with, honey, I love you. I love you more than life itself. And I care for you beyond what you could even imagine. But I am not doing you a service right now by letting you walk all over me. So I'm going to put some boundaries and some limits in place. And if you can't abide by them, then you're going to have to do it somewhere else. And you're going to have hope and faith that all the work that you've put into your life and hers is enough. You may not be ready today. You may not be ready tomorrow. But I want you to listen back to this recording. I want you to listen back to this recording as soon as you feel up to it. And just let the information come through. Allow yourself to release this burden that you have placed on yourself that doesn't belong to you. I know. I'm trying to get this cat out of here he's just all over me.
I have 3 of them.
Okay. All right. Jennifer, I need you to understand, and I need you to know that I love you and we love you and we are here to support you, and Wendy loves you and everyone here. Yeah.
I'm so grateful for this group. I didn't know I was going to be one of your coaching calls, but, I don't share a lot, especially stuff like this. So thanks, you guys. Thank you.
We are here for you. So again, you've known what to do for a long time. And the only thing that you don't want to feel is that you failed her and disappointed her. That's all. Because it's very difficult to feel those feelings, because ultimately what it does is it makes us feel like we failed ourselves.
Yeah.
You have a lot of pressure on you. So just allow it. This is a time for reflection and for prayer and for people that are the closest to you, just to talk it through, because the thing is, you know what to do. You know exactly what to do and why. And now with this added information of what you are trying to avoid feeling, ultimately, it does circle back to you, right? I don't want to feel like a failure. I don't want to feel like I disappointed her. I don't want to feel this. That's what you're afraid of feeling. As much as it is about her, it's even more about you. Okay, so like I said, re-listen to this, pray, connect, right? And try and get to a place where you can do the right thing, because it's the right thing for you and it's the right thing for her. It means you care. And even though she won't see it now, she will see it later. Okay, take a deep breath.
I keep waiting.
Take a deep breath. Fill up those lungs. Fill up those lungs. Yeah. Yeah. There you go. Let in that love. Let in that love. Let you're right now, you're just surrounded with God's love. Let that in. Let that in. He's got you. Or she's got you. It's all good. All right. Does anyone have anything they'd like to share before we close?
Thanks, you guys, for spending all this time.
I wasn't going anywhere. And guess what?
I really appreciate it.
Neither was anybody else. We got you.
Thanks. Thanks, you guys.
Guys, big hand for everyone. Thank you all for staying.
Yeah, thank you.
Supporting Jennifer when she needed it the most, and she needs it the most. Well done to everybody. This is how we do it together. We can't do this thing alone. We need help. All right. We'll see you guys next Wednesday. The next recovery coaching call. Love you all.
Thanks, you guys. Thank